Assalamu alaikum friends. Welcome to question 1 of AFM. This question I have taken from the revision kit of the latest AFM kit. If you don't have the latest AFM revision kit, you can go to my channel under about section. You have to click ACCA materials and you can download the revision kit and the textbook of AFM. Along with AFM, we have AAA, SBL and SBR textbooks. So coming back to question number 1, I will be doing all the questions in the revision kit. That is the latest revision kit. That means the professional marks will also be there in this. Okay, so we are just not going to deal with the technical, but how to gain the professional marks also. That is new from the syllabus. Okay, and every day I'll be uploading one question. So hopefully I'll be able to finish this before the December exam. So starting with first question, that this question, if you see in your revision kit, it is under advanced investment appraisal. This was the very first lecture. Even my AFM lecture I started with this. By the way, if you want to know about more about AFM, you can go to my AFM lecture. I also have a separate playlist for AFM lecture. That is, the name of the playlist is AFM lecture from September 2022 to June 2023, because it is relevant for that. So let's start with this question. Before we go to the question, always start reading the requirements first. It gives you an idea what you have to do before reading the case study, and it's a 50 marks question. Okay, so you can see the length of the case study is also, it's very big, it's very lengthy, but you have to finish it. Okay, and because this is a 50 marks question, first understand the time. You have to spend 50 into 1.8, that is exactly 90 minutes. Okay, and this question I'm going to do on your CB platform. Okay, so make sure that you open a blank workspace, and we'll be doing calculations in Excel and we are writing in the word processor. So let's read the requirements first. A, you have to prepare a report to the board of directors of the company. Okay, in A, we have in the report, remember, we have this, we have this, we have no, only part A is there in the report. Okay, part B is outside the report. Please understand this, and your 10 professional marks is there. Okay, so here the professional marks are for communication, for analysis and evaluation, for skepticism and commercial acumen. I will show you how to get these marks along with getting your technical marks. First, let's read with the first requirement, which is for 27 marks. Most of your marks is here because this is your calculation. So it says evaluate whether or not Tramount should undertake the project to produce XIT in Gamala and cease its production in US immediately. In the evaluation, include all relevant calculations in a form of financial assessment and explain any assumptions made. You see, one is calculation, the other one is assumptions. You have lots of calculations to do here. Now, it is suggested that the financial assessment should be based on present value of operating cash flow from the Gamala project, discounted by an appropriate all equity rate, adjusted by the present value of all other relevant cash flow. What does it mean? It means they are telling you to calculate adjusted present value. This is the meaning of it. Simple. You're supposed to find adjusted present value. So sometimes directly they will give you, sometimes they will give you like this. How did you understand? Because here, see, they told operating cash flow discounted by all equity rate. That is one. Second, adjusted by the present value of all other relevant cash flow. That means other than equity, your debt. Part B, discuss the change in government and other business factor that Tremor should consider before making a financial decision. I told you, it is not calculation that counts. Also, what you discuss, you should be able to write for 8 marks. Okay. Then part B, which is for 5 marks. Okay, some small case studies there, you have to read it, and then you have to discuss how adopting aspects of triple bottom line reporting may provide a better assessment of the success. Okay, so in the case study, I'm not going to read the entire case study and take your time. You can do it on your own. Make sure that you have already read it before you come to my video where I'll be solving the questions. Make sure that you have read it and kept it ready so that you know what we are doing. Okay, but at least the figures we can calculate. Okay, here they have told that wait. Okay, for example, here you see wherever numbers are there, you can read. So this is a 4-year project. Okay, at the end of the year, the full production rice will be sold to government-backed company, 450 million after tax. This amount is not subject to inflationary increase. Okay, we'll highlight all the important numbers. Not subject to inflation index. So this is about some production in a different country. Okay, this made a unit contribution of 20. Okay, then sale is estimated to be 40,000. It will fall by 20% each year. Then if the production is stopped immediately, it will be sold for 2.3. Cost will be 1.7. This is the redundancy cost. Then we have initial investment 230 million in GR. Remember here exchange rate also we have to convert it to the home currency, local currency. Land and building is 150, machinery is 80. That's how initial investment is 230. Then we have 40 million, that is her working capital. This will also increase in line with annual inflation rate. Okay. Now, volume 12,000, 22,000, 47, 60,000. Each unit will be sold for 70. Variable cost per unit is 1,350. In addition to variable cost, each unit will require a component at 7 and makes a $4 contribution per unit. Total fixed costs 30 million, okay, for the first year. Remember, all your costs are expected to increase by their country's respective rate of inflation. But selling price will remain fixed at 70 per unit for the 4 year. Okay. Tax at Gamala is 20, Tramount it is 30%. We have double tax treaty and all. And if you have any loss, okay, they can be carried forward against any future taxable profit. Okay. Then we have the commercial borrowing rate is 13%. Remember, it is an adjusted present value. So you need all the debts and the borrowing rate and all. 6% subsidized loan. And you can borrow at an interest rate of 5%. Equity is 25 million shares at 2.4. 40 million 7% bond, that is debt, trading at this price. Quoted beta is 1.17. Risk-free rate is 3%. Market risk premium 6%. Beta applicable to the project if all equity finance will be 0.4 more than the current all equity financed beta. Cost of capital is 7%. The applicable to the cash flow in the USA it is 7%. Okay, exchange rate has been given. This is the exchange rate. Inflation rates in US is 3%, 9% in Gamala. Okay. They have assumed that this inflation will not change. All cash inflows will be remitted back to Tramount. Okay. Now the last part. There are two main political parties. They told that if one of them wins, that is GR, they will increase the taxes of international companies and review any commercial benefits that is given to the business by the previous government. Okay. This is for A. And for B, although not mandatory, see it is not mandatory for external reporting purpose. One of the members says that they have to monitor triple bottom line. when monitoring this investment after its implementation, which provide a better assessment of how successful it has been. So now let's do this question and make sure that you have the question in front of you while we are doing it in the Excel. So what you need to do is you have to open a blank workspace. Okay, and now the requirement is create a report. So before I calculate, what I do is I open the word processor and start making the format of report. Make sure that you write your answer in a report format and not in any other way. Why? Because even if your answers are correct, all your calculations are correct, you are going to lose marks. You are going to lose the professional marks. Why? Because you're supposed to write it in a form of report. You have to write it, and for that you are getting marks. So don't throw this easy extra marks that you are getting by writing it in a report format. So this is how you write it in a report format. Okay, you first have to write that it's a report. Report to whom? To the, already in the question they have told it in the requirement that it's a report to the board of directors of the company. So you exactly write the same thing. Report to the board of director of the company. Write the mention the name of the company. Tramount Company. And I'm going to make this bold. Presentation matters a lot. Make sure that it looks, presentation is very good so that it's easy to read. Like your subheadings, headings are in bold, or if you want you can underline, but no need to underline. Bold is enough. And what you're writing in inside the under the subheading, don't write it in bold. Okay, don't make everything bold, otherwise you will not understand what is subheading, what is the actual thing that you have wrote. Now, how do you decide a proper this thing, a subject? Remember, you have to give an introduction to the report. Okay, you need a heading for it. What do you write? What is the subject? For that you have to go through the requirement. Okay, read the first requirement. What did they say? Evaluate whether the company should undertake this project or not. So that is your subheading. That you can use it as a subject, and that also will be in bold like this. Evaluation of whether, this you can write it in anything. Okay, in your own words. Evaluation of whether the production of X IT should move to Gamala or not, the new country, Gamala. Now under this, I'm going to remove the bold and I'm going to write an introduction. You need a proper introduction to a report. Don't jump to the requirement. Don't start calculating by starting your net present value. I know we always have this tendency. Immediately we'll jump to the spreadsheet, start doing sales, cost, tax. You start doing your net present value. I know you can do it. You have plenty of time to do that. But first set up the report form. Okay, there's a reason why I'm telling you this. Because when you start doing calculation, your mind is totally, you are in a panic mode. You are totally in the calculation. You are so lost in the calculation that you actually do not get time later on when you come to write a report to write it in the form of report. You might have missed out of so many things, hence throwing away your valuable professional marks. But what happens if you write it in the beginning only before doing calculation? Because your mind is free, you just started a question, a fresh question, your mind is fresh. You'll be able to write faster, you'll be able to think also, and you'll be able to set up a proper format in a report format. What you have to do is after you calculate, just put it in the appropriate subheadings. Under appropriate subheadings you put. Okay, fair enough. Requirement A, B, C, D, whatever the requirements they have asked, that is your introduction. From there you have to pick out your introduction. Okay, so here you have to write what is the purpose of the report. Basically this report will evaluate, or you can say this report evaluates the possibility, even though your this subject tells you what you are doing, but still you have to write it like this. This report evaluates the possibility of moving the production Because this is your first question, I am writing it for you. Okay, at least the introduction and the conclusion in full I'm writing for you. The middle part, I will just give you the points. You can write your own, write it in your own sentences. Okay, but hereafter onwards, I'm not going to write the report. You have to do it. I will only show you the calculation because this is first. So at least I have to show you the first time. Later on, you can write it on your own, taking the idea from here. So this report evaluates the possibility of moving the production of XID to Gamala from the USA. Okay, that's not enough. What are you doing? Assumptions. They also told you to state assumptions. Write it. In any way you can write. I'm just writing the exact wordings. What is there in the answer? Okay. Following the initial. You see, following the initial. See, your introduction when you're writing, don't write it in any order. It follows the timeline. It follows the requirement that is given in the order. First, they told you financial, whether it is financially acceptable or not. Financial evaluation, right? That's why I've written this line first. Then I will be talking about assumption. Don't first write about I'm going to write about assumption. Don't first write that thing. That comes later. In any report is like this. You follow the order of the requirements given. So following the initial evaluation. The report discusses the key assumptions. Now you're talking about key assumptions. Key assumptions made. After that, what did the requirement say? The third requirement is the possible impact of change in government in Gamala. So comma you can write, or full stop also you can write. The possible impact of a change in the government in Gamala. And other business factor. Isn't it? And other business factor that should be considered. So your introduction you pick up from the requirements only. That should be considered before a final decision is made. I want to make one thing very clear. Whenever you have to make a decision, whether to move abroad, whether to extend your subsidiary, always, not just the financial. You have to see the assumptions, you have to see the other business factors. Those things also you have to see before you make a final decision. Okay. Now, leave a para, leave a line, come to the next para. Okay. See, your calculation. First requirement is calculation, right? So in the report, in this word process, are you doing the calculation here itself? Do you think it's a good idea? No. You are going to do the calculation in the spreadsheet. But at least something you have to write in the report for that financial acceptability first requirement, which is for 27 marks. What are you going to do with it? You are just going to write you are going to write a sentence for it. Okay? That how you are going to calculate. Okay, so you are going to say initially. You are doing adjusted present value. So first you have to calculate base case net present value. That's what you have to write. Initially a base case net present, I'm going to write short form, NPV calculation is conducted, isn't it? First, this is, you are just telling what is being done to assess the impact of the production in Gamala or is conducted is enough. This is then adjusted to show the impact of cash flow in the USA as a result of the move. Okay. After this, you're adjusting it. That means adjusted present value. This is then adjusted to show the impact of cash flows in US as a result of the move. Okay. There are two. One is the immediate impact of ceasing production. So you have to be very quick in typing, and your structure has to be clear in your mind. Visualize it, and you have to type. Okay. And the impact of subsidy. You have to show because we have a subsidized loan, right? And the tax shield benefits. In your adjusted present value, in this question, there are these two: tax shield benefits and subsidy. So that's what you're writing. And the impact of subsidy and tax shield benefits from the loan borrowing. Because you have been borrowing a loan to finance it. Third para. You see, you always leave one line and come. What is it? Since your calculation is in the spreadsheet, always write this in Word, okay? Based on the calculations presented, you have to write the place where your calculations are in the report itself. Based on the calculation presented in the appendix. You see, you never calculate in the main report. Your calculations, because it's a major calculations, is always under appendix. That is in spreadsheet. But you have to refer it like this. In the Word, you have to write that calculations are done in the appendix. So based on the calculations presented in the appendix, the move will result in we still don't know whether the adjusted present value is positive or negative. So you have to leave this line like this, leave space. When we calculate it, come back and fill the space. You see, this is the advantage of writing it in a form of a report. So will result in dash 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 adjusted present value of this much. We'll leave some space. Okay. On this basis, you see, you need some basis to decide. So on this basis, the initial recommendation, what is the initial recommendation? You have to recommend whether you are going to accept this project or not. So your wordings has to be like this. Initial recommendation is that the production of XIT should. So now again you have to leave space because you don't know whether you should cease in US or you should continue it in US. You understanding? So in the initial recommendation, the production of this one should cease. We still don't know whether it should cease or should not cease. So if it should not, later we'll come here and write should not. You see, I'm leaving some space so that you can come and fill it later on. If you don't need that space, later on you can remove the space. It's fine. Should not or should cease, we still don't know. We need our calculation. Should cease in the US. Full stop. Then and the production moved to Gamela instead. So we don't know whether we have to cease in US and move to Gamela or we should not cease in US and not move to Gamela. So that also again will leave some space. Now, what is in the first requirement itself they told and assumptions. So your next subheading will be assumptions. Okay, don't write your assumptions here under this. write assumptions separately as a separate subheading. This always is like this in a report. So this I will make it bold because this is a subheading. Now it's up to you how many assumptions you want to write, because they gave you that 27 marks overall. It includes assumptions also, it includes calculation also. So we don't know how much are there for just assumptions. So if you are in this condition where you don't know how many assumptions you have to write, let's say 4 to 5 assumption is a good assumption. Always keep 4 to 5 or 3 to 4 to be on the safe side. Don't write too less, don't write too much. Don't write 1 or 2, don't write 5, 6, 7, don't write more than 5. Okay, so 3 to 5 is a good range to write your assumptions. Each assumption need to be written in one paragraph. One assumption, one paragraph. Second assumption, second paragraph. One assumption only you are writing in one paragraph. Okay. So what could be your assumption? I'm not writing the assumptions in full sentences for you. I'm just writing the points for you. Okay. The first assumptions could be about the borrowing rate. Okay. This you can talk. Elaborate on this. First paragraph, borrowing rate. What is it? It was assumed that the borrowing rate was 5%. Okay, and this is only used to calculate the benefits from the tax shield, isn't it? But it could be argued that you can use the risk-free rate also, that is 3% rather than 5%, right? I mean, when you are calculating a adjusted present value, you used 5%, the borrowing rate, to find the tax shield rather than, so you could have used risk-free 3% also. So borrowing rate is 1, 5 or 3%. Second assumption. Second assumption, second. What is it? Debt capacity. What is it about debt capacity? See, as for assumptions and all, you don't have to wait for the calculations. Okay, this you can write without calculation also. See, when you're calculating or I'm just explaining you, okay, under debt capacity, you write it in your own words. When you're calculating your adjusted present value, okay, the tax shield benefit, they assume that it is related to the debt capacity of the investment. Let's say your debt capacity for this investment is 4 million. So you are going to get the benefit of the tax shield on that full 4 million. That means whatever the interest is on there on that 4 million loan, you are going to get the advantage of tax shield, right? Because it is not on the actual amount of debt finance used. You must have used more or less than that, than the capacity. So since this is not given, it's, see, they didn't give you what is the debt capacity and actual finance use. Because it is not given, it is assumed that the increase in debt capacity is equal to the debt finance use. That means whatever your debt capacity is, that is actual finance you have used. Because this question didn't clearly tell you. Third assumption. Third assumptions are your input variables. Input variables means, wait, like your sales, cost. So assumption is that they are accurate. Inflation, you see, inflation is known, it is constant. All this inflation, input, like sales, cost, fixed cost, inflation, these are your input variables. Whatever goes in your cash flow are known as input variables. You can even name the input variables. It's good to name. Just don't write input variables. So it is assumed that the input variables like tax or tax allowable depreciation or cost, price, the volume, the inflation, the predicted exchange rate, they are based on the purchasing power parity. What is purchasing power parity? See, when inflation of two countries are given, we use those two inflation rates to find the exchange rate, isn't it? We assumed. So we predicted. So that's an assumption. Okay? We assume that they are accurate. But in reality, we know that this estimate will change. Okay. And finally, don't forget to give one conclusion to Tramount. What is it? Under the assumptions only. What is it? So therefore, it would be appropriate for Tramount to conduct uncertainty assessment like sensitivity. Okay, I will write this for you. In the same paragraph only here. Are accurate. Explain all the variables. Blah 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 blah. Leave some space. That only you can write. This line you can always add in any question. Just change the name of the company. That's it. It would be appropriate for Tramount company to conduct. This always you can write. To conduct sensitivity analysis. Okay, always you can talk about sensitivity analysis in your this thing. Could conduct sensitivity analysis to assess the impact of the changes in the initial predictions. See, because your initial predictions might change. What is the impact of that changes in initial prediction? For example, if your sales price increased from $10 to $20, what is the impact? Sensitivity analysis will tell you to show that impact, right? So this you can write. Next, what is next which comes under the report? Government change. So this will be a subheading. Always keep your subheading small. Don't copy paste the entire requirement. Never do this as a subheading. Or don't write too much like a sentence. 1 or 2 words is enough like this. Government change also, they have given you the marks. Right? How much you have to write. So accordingly you will decide the paragraph. What was it? How many marks? Discuss the change in government and business factors. Total 8 marks. That means 4. Let's say whenever they give marks, divide equally. If for 1 mark they are giving you 2 requirements, like here government change and business factor, then 4 for business factor, 4 for government change. Okay. So government change was 1. Leave some space. Other business factors. After other business factors, there is nothing. Triple bottom line is not a part of a report, but you have to write a conclusion. This is the last. You see? This is the format of the report. For other business factor, for government change, what can you write? Yeah. It's better to do some calculations you might need here to show the impact of the government change of the tax increase, right? Whether it will have a positive or a negative. What about other business factor? So we'll leave that thing for the calculation. What about other business factor? Conclusion anyway you cannot write. You need all the other parts to be filled. So what about other business factor? This you can write. This you can write even without calculation. For some, maybe you might need calculations. We'll leave those points. Wherever you don't need the support of calculation, start writing. 1.1 paragraph. So what do you think? What are the other business factor? One is real options. I'm writing the points, I'm not writing the full sentences. First paragraph, you can talk about real options. I will explain you. Okay. See, they should consider the possibility of becoming established in Gamala. And if they become established, this might lead them to follow on projects. Maybe from there onwards, they might get more projects. Okay. So in this case, that's why the value of real option has to be included alongside the adjusted present value. Right? You can link this in the analysis. Second business factor. What is the second business factor? Overall corporate strategy. What does this say? Does the project that you are undertaking, does it fit within the strategy? Even if you have made the decision to close in USA, okay, there may be other alternatives and this need to be assessed. Rather than moving to Gamela, you might think of other alternatives. Third, what is third? Experience. Do they have experience? If they are moving on to the new ventures in different countries, do they have experience to manage it? Do Tramount have experience in international ventures before this? Now, because now you have to match with the Gamela's culture. It's difficult, right? Because you have to train the staff. All these things you might not have taken into account in your financial analysis, whether they have the culture, similar culture. No, Gamela and US are different culture. Experience wise also, staff might not be experienced enough. You might have to train them. Then, fourth business factor. They need to consider whether project can be delayed or not. Project, you have to consider this also, whether you can delay the project or not. Okay, because if you see, okay, you must have lost contribution. If you are closing down in US and moving to Gamela, there's an opportunity cost to it. What is that opportunity cost? That contribution that you are receiving in US, you will lose it. Okay, so because of this, you can delay the project. If you have that delay to if you have that option to delay the project, it might increase the value, overall value of the project. Then what's next? What is the next business factor? You can take as many business factors as you want. If you're writing many of the business factor for your government change in government, you have to write less because together it's 8 marks. No, you have to balance it like this. If you're writing 5 points, 5 business factor, write 3 points for government change. That's how you get 8 marks. But overall 8 points. Okay. Redundancy. You have to talk about redundancy because this will cause an impact on your reputation. Right? What would be the impact on its reputation because of the redundancy? Okay. So in this case, you have to communicate with the employees. Okay. Now, so these are the business factor. Coming to the conclusion. Can you write the conclusion now? Conclusion will be very small. Okay. Okay, I'll write the conclusion for you. Wherever you have to leave space, I will leave that space. So following, see, you have done so many things. Sensitivity analysis, you have looked in the business factor, you have looked in the government change. All these things you have to include in your conclusion. Okay, but how do you do that? Following from a, you can always copy paste this conclusion in your different questions. Just change the name of the company. So following from a detailed sensitivity analysis. Okay, this is how you write conclusion. Following from a detailed sensitivity analysis, you also have analysis of a possible change, analysis of a possible change in government, and an evaluation of, you have evaluated the financial benefits and the evaluation of financial benefits. So detail of this and an evaluation of financial benefits and other business factor. It will help the board of directors to make a decision. The board of director can make a decision of whether to move the production to Gamela or not. Of whether, see, nothing is clear cut in AFM, okay? You have to write it, keep it open ended. Whether they will move the production or not is up to them. Let them take the decision. But at least this analysis will help them. Okay? Financial analysis, other business factors, change in government factors, sensitivity analysis. Okay? Will help them to make a decision of whether to move the, see, whenever you cannot decide based on business factor and this, leave it open ended. Most of the time you will not be able to decide. It's not yes or a no. Okay? That no, you have to accept, you have to invest. No, you don't have to invest. Okay, if you see conclusion, most of the conclusions are like this, open ended. Move the production to Gamala or not. So this initial evaluation suggests that moving the production to estate would be benefit. You have to say moving what? Based on initial evaluation, based on your calculation. So because that is the major part. So this initial evaluation, initially you have evaluated, right? This initial evaluation suggests, use the words like suggest or would recommend or it is advisable based on the initial evaluation. Anyway you can write, meaning has to be same. Suggest that moving the production of XIT to Gamala would be beneficial. See, we still don't know whether it will be beneficial or not. I will leave some space. Later, if it's not beneficial, I just have to add not. If it's beneficial, it will be beneficial. You see, this is the advantage of writing a report. Everything is done in the first few hours, first few minutes, I would say. Then the rest, you just have to focus on calculation. That's it. Writing part is almost over. The only thing you have to write is about the government change, whether it is beneficial or not. So initial evaluation suggests whether this will be beneficial or not. That's it. Conclusion is two or three lines. Right? So now we will be moving to our Excel for the calculation. Just I will take you through the report. You see, close it, open your spreadsheet and write appendix. You have to write because it's under appendix you told. So write the word appendix. There is only one appendix in this case. Sometimes there could be more than one appendix. Okay. You have to name it. Properly write what you are doing. First you are finding Gamalian projects operating cash flow in Gamalian currency only. Mammalian projects cash flow. Or you can say base case net present value of Mammalian. Anything is fine. I'm going to extend this. This is also in bold because these are headings. Now, just make a note here. What is it? All amounts in Gamalian currency. Make a note of this. Gamalian currency, and also here, dropping down the 3 zeros. So if it's in million, it will be, you are dropping down the last 3 zeros. Now, you write the year. This is the format of setting up when you have to calculate now. Year 0. How many years? 4 years. You are paying the tax in the same year. So this also, it's in bold and center align. Okay. Oh, maybe this I will put here. Okay. Now, so you start with your sales. Remember, sales will have a working. Workings are separate even from this main table. Workings will come later on. You understanding now? I don't know how much you can understand. Don't get confused. Sales has a working. Why you have to inflate it? You have to multiply the volume with the sale price, and it's not same every year. That's why there's a separate working. In fact, most of the item here has workings to it. So when you're writing working, don't just write working for sales, working for cost. Which working? Number it. There should be a proper order in your number. Okay, working number 2. Why working number 2? First working is always your exchange rate. Keep your working one as exchange rate always. The changes in the exchange rate using the inflation rate of the two countries, that is purchasing power parity. Find the exchange rates in all the 4 years. First year is given year 0. Based on that, you have to find out the spot rate for first year, second year, third year, fourth year. That is always your working one, especially if a question like this is there where you have international production. I mean, you have currencies to deal with. Then only you're working on is the exchange rate. Otherwise, that working will not come. You understanding? Then we have local variable cost. Or, or I will just write local VC. Okay. It is working 3. This also similar to sales, only the cost. Then we have component that we are going to import. There's a component that we have to import. So imported component. So when we import, it's a cost. This also require a working. Working 4. What's next? Fixed costs. FC. Fixed cost, no working. You just inflate, that's it. Then we are going to have profit before tax. From here, reduce your tax, which has a working number 5, separate working. Then we have investment. Then we have WC, working capital. Then we have cash flows after your working capital. That is in Gamalian currency GR. After this comes your exchange rate. You have to convert to dollar. This already you must have calculated as working one. Then we have cash flows in dollar. Write the currency next to it always, with what currency it is. Then we have discount factor. Still not decided. You have to calculate it, working 6. Here you have to calculate the discount factor also. See, when you get a question like this as a 50 marks question, be prepared. Discount factor also you have to calculate. Using that discount, you have to find the base case net present value. You understanding? So you have double the work. Then we have PV, present value. And finally, net present value. After this, we have leave space APV, adjusted present value we have. I'm just setting the format first before calculating. Okay, so before that, first you start with base case net present value. What you get from here? You just take it here, copy paste. Okay. After that, remember in Gamelin you are paying at 20%, US tax is 30%. So you are paying additional tax in US. Okay. Additional USA tax. So it is not just additional USA tax, but we also have what? The opportunity cost. Okay. That means the revenue that you are going to lose because you are going to give up the current. You are not going to be in US anymore. So you are going to lose that opportunity cost. And what? Component that is exported to project. Okay. Additional contribution. You're going to have additional contribution. Why? How? From component that is exported to the project, you are going to export some for that project. So from there you are going to earn some additional contribution, but in US. That's why this is not taken in that cash flow table. Separately you have to add. Okay, net of tax after deducting tax. Additional contribution but deducted, net of tax. All these three requires working. Okay. Working 7. They are taken in same working only. What's next? We have some closure, revenue and cost because we are going to close in US. So just take the difference. Okay. Closure, revenue and cost. Here itself you can take it. What was the cost? 2 million, 2.3 million. That means 2,300. That is the revenue and the cost is 1.7 million, 1,700 because we are dropping down the 3 zeros. So 600,000. Next. Tax shield and subsidy. That means benefit of subsidy. Working 8. And finally what we get is our total adjusted present value. This will be in bold. Okay. Same way even your net present value will be bold. Okay. So before going to the table, first we'll start doing workings. After this comes our working. You see, always after the main table, main thing that requirement asks is what? Adjusted present value. So after this you will start your working. If this question was just net present value, then right of the net present value, under the net present value will be your workings. So we'll start our workings from here. Workings. You have to label it like this, workings. Bold. And now W1, working 1. Working 1 is what? Exchange rate. You have to label it. Label each working with the number and the name for it. So for example, Just don't write working one. No one will understand what working one is. Is it for sales? Is it for cost? Is it for exchange rate? Is it for tax rate? What is it for finding exchange rates? Okay. So now year 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Or maybe this, since we have taken this as year 0 in our main table, will you can do it like this so that okay. But for year 0, we don't have to. Already exchange rate is given. We have to predict using that for year 1, 2, 3, 4. Using the two inflation rate of the country. It is GR per $1. Okay. 0, no need. For 0, what is it? It's 55. Sorry, 55, just write 55 here. 55 GR for $1. Okay. Now you have to find it in terms of dollar. Using the inflation rate of the two countries. The inflation rate in Guatemala is 9% and US is 3%. But do you know which rate to multiply and which rate to divide? To see that, you have to see this. This is 55 GR. Okay, so that means you have to multiply with the GR's inflation and divide it by the US inflation. Okay, always the same country you have to multiply and different country you have to divide. So now you have to do this. This is the working you have to do. Multiply by 1.09, divide by 1.03. Enter. Okay, you see this number is quite big. That's why it's not coming entirely in this. So what you have to do is you have to format it. Okay, you can go here. You can keep it to 2 decimal places or you can round it up to whole number. But when it comes to exchange rate, it's better to round it up to 2 decimal places. So we'll go here. From here, you need to click this. You see? Now, so we'll just drag it to the other cell and see. Okay? You don't have, so the good thing is you only need to do it once and then you can just copy paste it to the other cell because it will entirely exactly take it, multiply 1.09 and divide by 1.03 each time by the previous rate. Okay, you just need to do it once. Now, second working is what? We'll finish with all the workings first. Sales revenue. Sales. Okay. I'm going to bold it. Same, I don't have to write the years again. It's already there. Okay. So it is price into unit into exchange rate. Why? Because you need it in Gamalian currency. And the sales that you have been given is in, it is in dollar. So here, when you are taking the sales, okay, price into units into exchange rate. So what is the price? Price remains 70. Okay, 70. Okay, you need to press equal 70 multiply by quantity 12,000 for the first year, and you need to multiply this with the currency rate. Sorry, this is for year 0. You have to go to year 1. Okay, Just give me a second so that I can go back to the question. Okay. So the sale price is 70, it will remain 70, and then 12, 22, 47, and 60,000. It is in dollar. You need to convert it into million because you have to write it. See here, when you go up, this cash flow is in GR. So you have to write it in GR currency. That's the reason. It's given in dollar. You might be thinking anyway at the end we have to convert it to dollar. Why convert it to GR? No, to include it there. Okay. So here, okay, equal to 70 multiply by 12,000 because 12,000 is the quantity, multiply with the exchange rate, that is 58.2. Okay, when you go here, okay, when you want to round it up to the whole number, okay, as a whole number, click here, format cell, number, sorry, all, and you need to click this, the first zero. Okay, you see, but you need to drop down 3 zeros when you do this. That's why it is showing in million. So what you do is just enter into 12 rather than writing 12,000. Okay, so automatically it is taken as this one, or you can write next to this sales when you are putting GR in thousands. Okay, this is easier to deal this number rather than having 3 zeros. Next, you cannot copy paste it to the other cell because each time quantity keeps changing. Even if the price is 70, quantity keeps changing. Okay, so equal to 70 multiply by 22,000 is for the second year, that means 22 multiply by this exchange rate, enter. Here also go format cell this. Okay, you see, $94,855 third year, 70 multiply by 47,000, but you are going to take 47 multiply by this rate, enter. Go here, format cell, click the 0. Okay, okay, then here 70 multiply by 60 multiply by this rate, enter. Go here, format cell, this one. So each time you have to keep doing like this. Okay, now we are coming to the total variable cost, local variable cost, local WC. You see, this saves time. Doing all the workings at one stretch will save a lot of time, rather than imagine if you do this, you are going there, copy pasting it to the main table, again coming down, again doing the working. This wastes a lot of time going up down up down up down. Rather finish all the working at one stretch and then put everything in the main table. Okay, this also will be in GR 1000. You're going to drop down the 3 zeros. If my spelling is there might be some spelling mistake, but just ignore it. I mean, for my thing I can ignore it, but in your exam you cannot ignore it. Okay, so this one will be cost into unit into inflation. Here we don't have to change it. Why? Because the price is already given in GR. It is not given in dollar. So here you don't need to multiply it by the exchange rate. Okay, equal to, what is the cost? The cost is 1350 for the first year. Multiply this with the production will be 12,000. same as sales. First here there is no inflation. Okay, here also you need to every time do this. Just move and drag it. You see, what is the mistake with this? Tell me, there is some mistake. Technically this is right, but here you have taken 12, but here you have taken 12,000. You see, sale is this much and the cost is this much. Can you see this? Looks very it's very out of the range, right? Uncommon. So this is the reason you have to take 12. You have to be consistent. There you have taken 12, here also you have to take 12. There if you would have taken 12,000, here also the quantity you should have taken 12,000. Okay, here now this will remain same 1350. Okay, 22,000, but 22 you have to take. Multiply this with the inflation. Inflation in GR is 9%, so 1.09. 32373. Here equal to 1350. Multiply this with the 47. Multiply with 1.09 squared to the power 2. If you have to press, okay, if you have to get this sign, then press shift and 6 and then 2. Enter. Go here, format cell, this. Okay, make sure that you bring everything, you round everything to whole number. Here equal to 1350. Multiply this with 60. Multiply this with the inflation 1.09 to the power 3 this time. Enter. Go here, format cell, 0. Okay, you see. Now what else? Working for. Working for is for imported component. That also will be in GR, everything bold. Okay, here price into unit into inflation into exchange rate, or I'm just going to write ER, exchange rate, because it is given in dollar. You have to convert it into GR. Okay, so here equal to 70 is the price. Sorry, not 70. The price is 7. Okay, but quantity will remain 12,000, hence 12. Multiply this with exchange rate, because first year no inflation, so this. Enter. You see, you are getting such a big number. What do you do? How do you deal with this? Take both the cell together, okay, and then you see you cannot see the entire list, so take this up, drag this down from here until you are able to see all the options. Format cell, this one. Okay, you see. Now here you cannot copy paste it because each cell the quantity is different. Price will be 7. Multiply with this 22,022. Multiply with the inflation. Inflation is what? 9%. Sorry, 3%, because this is imported component. You're going to import this to US. So you have to apply the US's inflation. 1.03. Multiply with the exchange rate, hence 61.59. Enter. This also click here. Format cell, already it is here, 0. Okay. Then equal to 7 into the quantity. What is the quantity? 47. Multiply by 1.03 to the power 2. Multiply with this exchange rate, third years. Click here, format cell, Okay. And for the fourth year, you have to do the same thing. Equal to 7 multiplied by 60 multiplied with 1.03 to the power 3, 3 to the power 3 multiply by this exchange rate, 4th years. Enter. Go here, format cell. Okay. So now, what's the next? What's the next? What is working 5? So you will go here and see. Working 1 was exchange rate done, 2 is sales done, 3 is working capital done, 4th is imported component done. What is the 5th one? 5th one is tax. 5th one is tax. So we'll do here. Okay. Working 5, tax. To do that, what do you need? Tell me. You need profit before tax. You need profit before tax. First, profit before tax. Do you know the profit before tax? No. What are you going to do? You see, all the things are done. Sales, local variable, import, and fixed costs. So just go and fill in the table, because without that, you cannot get profit before tax, and you need this for your tax. So here, what I'm going to do is go down. You have already done sales under working 2. Take all these 3, copy it here. Okay. When you are going to paste, it will not paste it. Why? Because there is a formula to it. Try to paste. First year, okay. But this 0, 0, 0. Why? Why? Click here and see. It is based on this. There is nothing on this table. So that's why whenever you have a function, you have calculated it by using some formula like this, and you are trying to copy paste it. Don't just directly copy paste, it will not work. Okay. So I'm going to undo. Rather, you have to go here, paste special, and now you select. Do you want it with the formula you want to copy paste, or just the value, or what? Let's take just the value. Okay. If you just take just the value, original value will come. So what you have to do is click all these 3 cell, format cell, this. Okay. Now easily you can do any changes with this. But if you have a formula, you can copy paste it as a formula also. It does not matter. Why? Because when you click here, you see the formula, you cannot see the number, only you can see, because you have copy pasted it as a value. No worry. Why? Because you have already labeled it that this is done under working 2. So when someone goes under working 2 like this, they will be able to click here and see the workings. Okay. Another way is copy paste it with the formula. Okay, let's take with the formula. Let's say you want to paste it with the formula. Okay, so when you are taking it with the formula like this, you can see when you click here, you'll be able to see the formula here. When you click here, you'll be able to see the formula here. But the problem with this is, let's say one digit is wrong here, you want to make some changes. Sometimes it happens, right? You copy paste it, but in that place you might want it to look different, or you might want to change it. Then changing is a little difficult because it came with the formula. But if I copy paste it as a value, you can easily change the value. But it's okay. Here nothing to be changed, so we can take it as a formula. Coming to local variable cost, same way. Go down, take all this, copy, go up. Now see one thing. Now I will paste it special, but not as a formula with a value. Why? Ask me this question. Again I have to format it, but Okay, format cell, click all three. Okay. Why did I do this? Because this you have to deduct from sales. This I want it to be shown as a negative figure. So what I will do is I will just put a minus next to it. I will just go and put in my, this is easier when I paste it as a value, easier to change. I will just go before the number and enter minus. It will take it as a negative figure. Why do I do that? So that when I go here to find the profit before tax, I just have to perform the sum function and just drag it and take the sum function. Automatically, the minus figure will be deducted. The positive figure will be added. Okay. Coming to the imported component, working for. Go down. This. Copy. Paste special. This also I will take it as a values. Okay. This again I have to format. Take it as a whole number. Okay. This also I have to take it as a minus figure. Minus. Don't worry if in the cell it shows us a number like this. Okay, it is showing the original value. It's fine. Minus. Do not put bracket because this Excel does not take bracket as a number. It will treat it as a text. You have to put minus sign. Now fixed cost. No working is required. Fixed cost directly you can take. What is the fixed cost? You just have to inflate. Minus 30,000. Inflate it in Gemalis. Gemala is what, 9%? So equal to this multiply by 1.09, enter. Okay, now I can just drag it to this thing. You see, this I have to change it. Format cell, this, because it is showing as a decimal. I want it as a whole number. Now do you get it? Now, here I'm going to perform the sum function. So just take from here, enter. I need to format this. You see, what I need to do is just drag it to the other cell. That's it. Did you see? This saves a lot of time. Now, if you see the first year, it's a loss. Okay, so first year you're not going to pay any tax. Second year, whether we pay tax or not, we have to see whether we have utilized it entirely. If yes, then zero. If still some profit is remaining, we have to pay the tax. So here, tax in year 1 is 0. Okay, because we are going to carry it forward. But for 2, 3, 4, we need working. So now we are going to do that. Okay. Here, from year 1. Okay. So profit before tax, we are just going to copy paste it from here. Copy. Paste special. The values. When I take the values, I always have to keep formatting it. Okay. I know this takes a little time, copy pasting going up down, but you have to be used to it. From here, you deduct tax allowable depreciation, TAD. How much is the tax allowable depreciation? Tell me. How much is the tax allowable depreciation? Go through the question and find out and tell me what is the tax allowable depreciation. See here, the cost of the machinery is tax allowable. In this case, you have been given the initial investment 230. Out of that initial investment 230, 150 is for land and building, that is not depreciated. But machinery for 80 million is depreciated on a straight line basis over the next 4 years. Okay, that means that 80 million you have to divide by 4, hence 20 million. You can show it also, 80 divided by 4 or 80,000 divided by 4, hence 20,000. So all the 4 years it is 20,000. But remember, it will be a minus figure. Okay, this you are going to make sure in the first year itself you put a minus here, minus, enter. Now drag it to the other cell. Exactly 20,000 it will take. 80,000. Better to show workings like this, 80,000 divided by 4. Okay, rather than just type in 20,000. Now what? Just deduct. Just deduct your taxable depreciation from profit before tax. Okay, so here equal to sum function. Just take this too. You see, take both the cell, not just this cell. When you have to change the number, both the cell, format. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is just going to drag it to the other cell. You have to get this plus sign, okay? You see? So what is the taxable profit? TP, taxable profit. If you see here, taxable profit is 0. Sorry, this is the taxable profit, I'm sorry. This is the taxable profit. Okay, all right. Here it is 0 because you do not show negative. Negative figure will be taken as 0 taxable profit. Here, the taxable profit is how much? 12. Here also it's 0. No, wait a minute. There's a mistake somewhere. Okay. So here, now, taxable profit is 0 in the first year. Okay. And taxation. Tax at what rate? At 20%. Because in Gamal it is 20%. Okay. Now, you can carry, so it will be 0 here. Because on 0 there's nothing. But here when you take it, you see, out of this 12, you are going to utilize this 12. From this, you are going to carry forward this loss here. So out of this 12 only, you can utilize it in the first year, second year. So this 12 also will go. So here taxable profit will be 0 because this 12 also will go. And then you are remaining with 0. But third year, okay, what happens? What happens in the third year? From here, okay, from this, you are minusing. Okay, wait. I'll put a bracket here. From this amount, you are deducting what you have utilized it, this much. But if you click this one, remember this is a negative. So negative will be added. So just type 222 1 minus 12, because only out of this amount only 12 you have utilized. The balance will be cut off from this. So close bracket, press enter and go and format the cell. 38482. Did you understand this or not? See, from here, just take the balance of this two. Out of this, only 12 you can reduce. The balance will be deducted from this amount. That's why I've done it like this. So here, the tax will be now 20%. 20% on this amount. Enter. Format. I told you you need to format the cell. This. Okay. So 7696 only. Okay. Which will be a tax. And here, entire this amount. Taxable profit will be this amount only, entirely. 94, because nothing to, no losses to utilize from. So here you are taking 20% multiply by this rate. Enter. Format cell. Okay. You understanding? So just copy paste this. So just go and copy paste it here. Paste special. Paste it as a value. Okay. Just format this too. But here this will be deducted. Okay. So go here and put minus and minus. Now comes investment. Now things are a little easier. So investment is how much? 230,000. Minus 230,000, year 0. So minus 230. Minus 230,000. Next, working capital. Minus 40,000. But they told here they are going to recover 450,000. Something they have mentioned about 450. Let us go to the question. In the second para, they told that at the end of the 4th year, the full production rights will be sold to government for 450 after tax. This amount is not subject to inflationary increase. That is 450 are going to receive. It's a cash inflow at the end of the 4 year. So that's why 450,000 you have to add. 450,000. What's next? Working capital. Working capital, you have to take the inflationary. That is 9%. So here when you take equal to 9%, not 1.09, 9%. 9% of 40,000. Enter. Minus 3,600. Then equal to again 9%. But 9% to the power 2. Because it's in the second year. Okay. After you deduct this from this, 40 from 3,600. So 40,000 minus 3,600. Don't press it because it's already negative. Okay. See, you didn't press the equal sign. That's why I didn't calculate it. No, it is something you have to add, in fact, not multiply. add. So this is just an incremental. Okay, what you have to do is you have to increase this with 3600. Okay, so just add plus 3600. Enter. I know this is little confusing, but then 3924. Just give me a minute. I will try to do this manually. Okay, this is not the right method. Okay, just forget about everything. You just have to take 9% on this amount equal to enter, and you have to add it. So when you add it, that means you just take 1.09. Okay, here you just took 9% because you wanted to know the amount of 40,000. 9% of 40,000. After the first year, you keep inflating it. We'll continue after a minute. Okay, so what was I saying? That after first year you have to keep it increasing by 9%. Keep on increasing by 9%. Here equal to, on this previous figure, just multiply by 1.09. Okay, okay. But in the final year, what do? You have to be very careful. You add all the number. Okay, so you add all the number. When you add all the number, you cannot take sum function because it is in minus. So what do? You can do one thing. Just enter a minus sum, and then add all this and press enter. What did I do? So you have to be smart enough. Okay, you know that if I put minus outside the bracket and inside all are minus, if I take the sum function, minus and minus will give me a positive. To convert the minus into plus, always put a minus figure outside and just take the sum function. You see, it will take it as a positive. Even if you are not able to do this, handle it in this way, just do is manually, then you have to keep adding. Or in the calculator, you have a calculator here, take it out, add 40,000 plus 3,600 plus 3,924 plus add, and you will get the amount. That also you can do. Whichever method is fine for you. So then the cash flow. Okay. Cash flow is what? The sum function. Year 0, it's only this two. See, when you are taking sum function, be very careful. Okay. You have to start from your profit before tax. Okay. A wise strategy is, even though I know these two cells are blank here, but when you do it in year 2, because you're starting from profit before tax, this is this row. What do you do? What I would suggest is take from here. I will show you why. Because now you can just copy paste it. If you take it from this two only, every cell you have to come and do. You understanding? Individually. But now you can just drag it to the other cell and hence save a valuable time. Go here. Format cell. You see? Isn't it time saving? Yes, it is. It saves a lot of time. Now exchange rate already you have. So just copy paste the exchange rate. Where is the exchange rate here? Okay, you need year 0 as well because you have inflows and working capital. So just paste special. We'll paste the formula. Okay. Okay. Here there's no formula. That's why I didn't take it. But you can type 55. But when you take it with the formula, you see they're taking it as a whole number. So what you do is go here and take it as a 2 decimal places. Okay. Keep it always in 2 or 3 decimal places. Don't take it as a whole number. Cash flow. What do you do? Just divide, because this is in GR. Remember 55 GR. Cash flows are in GR. So same currency, divide and get the cash flow in dollar. So here, just take this, divide by this, enter. And just take it to the other cell to get the format cell rather than doing one by one individually, and see. This is the cash flow that you get in dollar. Once you get the cash flow in dollar, you need a discount factor. Okay. What is the discount factor? Have they given you the discount factor? Open your question and see. The discount factor that they have given is what? Cost of capital in US is 7%. And what about the cost flow in Gamalion? Have they given you? No. Remember, we cannot use cost of capital. Why? This is base case net present value. We need all equity financed. That means cost of equity will live in it. That we have to find out. Okay. So let's do that. That is working 6. So let's go down here. Working 6. all equity or cost of equity. So now just put this Tramount company's equity beta. Or just write equity beta is fine. What is equity beta? 1.17. Input this figure here. It will be easier for you to perform the formula. Market value of equity is what? You need to find it out. See, you have 25 million shares, right? 25 million into the price. It is for 2.4. Each share is for 2.4. So it will be 60 million M. Okay. Obviously here you cannot write M because it is just taking this thing. Here, market value of debt. How much? Press equal 40 million of debt, right? 40 into the price they told 14280 per thousand. So 1428 divided by 1000. That's what it means. 57 1.2 million. What's next? Asset beta. We have equity beta, we need asset beta. Why? Because using that asset beta only we are going to find the cost of equity. This is for adjusted present value, I told you. For base case net present value, that cost of equity that you need, you should use asset beta, not equity beta. So use asset beta now. How? Formula. Which formula? Go here. In case you forgot the formula, don't worry. Click on the help icon. Okay. I don't know why it's not opening. Go to the help. It is supposed to open, but okay. So go here. Now the formula sheet. This is the help button, which it usually comes here. It's there in the formula sheet, but I think maybe because this is blank workspace, that's why maybe they have not given it the formula sheet and everything. But anyway, the formula is given in the formula exam paper for the asset beta. You don't have to write the formula. Okay, this is how you do it. Equity beta. I'm telling you, you do it. Multiply by market equity. Okay, put bracket always. Divide the whole thing again bracket. Okay, market value of equity plus market value of debt. That is equity plus debt into 30% is the tax. Which tax are we talking about? US tax is 30%. Okay, this is from the US because see, your cash flow is in US. We need US after tax impact. So in US the tax is 30%. Okay, so after tax it will be 70%, right? Just deduct 30%. 1 minus 30 is 0.7. Enter. You need to go and format this. Just click this one. Format cell. Okay. Asset beta is 1. Okay, just keep it to 1 decimal place. Go here. Press here. No, here. Format cell. This one. Okay. You see? Don't take it as 1. Take it as 2, 3 decimal places. 0.7. How do you know this is correct? Your equity asset beta should always be less than your equity beta. Okay, if it was more than 1.17, you'd know it's wrong. Can never be. So project's asset beta. For this project, the asset beta they told is you have to add 0.4 because they told it's more than 0.4. So this plus 0.4. This also you need to format cell 2 decimal places. Okay. So this is this project's asset beta. Just use it in the CAPM formula to find the, or you can say all equity finance discount rate. All equity discount rate. Risk free rate is 3%. Or just add 3 plus this multiply by risk premium, that is 6%. Enter. You can take it as a percentage also. See, 6%, 3%, enter. You see? But if you wanted to round it up to 2 decimal places, you will see, no wait, 9.61. Okay, so you can take 9.6 as a discount rate, or you can take it as a whole number, 10%. You will get full marks if you use 10%. It's better to use rounded figure. You can use 10% as a cost of capital. So we'll just use 10%. So we'll go up. Wait. Something is wrong here. You see, 10%. So when you use 10%, okay, this will be 1. See here, it's not there because this is a blank workspace, but in your actual paper, you will have the discount factor table. Easily you can take it from here. Okay, but manually if you have to take, just press equal 1 divided by 1.1 because 10%. Enter. Round this up to 3 decimal places. Just click down, 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 down. 3 decimal places. If you want, okay, well, if you want to round it up in, if you want to round something to 2 decimal place, 3 decimal places, you have to do it manually. Because you can only round it up to 2 decimal places. So it will be 0.901. And take it like this. Here, 1 divided by 1.1 to the power 2. Okay, so here we'll take, because discount factors are always 3 decimal places, 0.826. Here 1.1, 1 divided by 1.1 to the power 3, 0.751. And here just expand the table, 0.683. Here just multiply this with this present value, that's it. Take it to the other cell, format this one. Okay, you see, net present value is just the sum function. Enter. Take it as a whole number. So you see, you are having a positive net present value of 19 22, right? Now there is another way through which you can do this shortcut formula. I will show you this. You just need to press equal. You will get a similar net present value. Net present value, this one. Okay, here you can get it. Help. Go there, down to net present value. Here, you see. You just need to click equal to net present value, and you need to calculate the present value. You have to press the table from your 1 onwards, but at the end you have to minus the initial investment. Okay, first you have to apply the discount rate. This is 10% in this case, so 10%, comma, you have to select from your 1 present value table. Okay, sorry, the cash flow table, not the present value, the cash flow. 1 to 4, enter. From here you have to deduct minus your this initial investment, enter. Wait, I think something is wrong. Discount values in cells. I think we have to take the discounted factor maybe. Okay, well, let's not minus this. Let's take here. So from here, minus the cash flow. Because this is minus minus. Okay. So minus 4909. Enter. And format cell to whole number. You see, this and this are same. I'm going to make highlight it for you. You see? What did I do? I will press here again. I wrote equal. I will show you from here. Equal to net present value. You always have, first number has to be your discount factor, that is 10%. Comma. Drag cells not year 0, because year 0 is your initial investment, always from first year. Okay, the cash flows we are taking, not the present value. And then after you have take, don't forget to minus your exchange rate, cash flow, that is initial investment, that is 4909. But the thing is, when I deducted it, because it's a minus figure already, so you cannot click, you just have to type minus 4909 like this. Separately I've done it. From here, just minus 4909. Make sure that you have to get it same. Try this on your own through both the methods so that you can be confident that you know how to use net present value formula also. Even if in the exam you have to do one, be comfortable with both, because you don't know, sometimes you might not get the time to discount using 10%. Once you get the discount factor 10%, then just use the discount net present value formula like this and get it. You will save time. You will save time on this. You don't have to write the discount factor. Then find the present value. All these things requires time. You can cut out on those time. Okay. Just I will change the formula and see. Rather than putting 10%, let's put 10. Enter. You see, this becomes a minus. So you have to put 10%, not now. So base case net present value will be 1922. 1922. You can type it also if you don't want to copy paste every time. Okay. What's next? You have to go to working 7. So working 7, you have 3 things there: additional tax, additional contribution, and opportunity cost. So first we are going to find out additional tax. This will be bold. Year 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's start with TP, taxable profit. Taxable profit in year 0 is 0. So year 1 is 0, year 2 is 0. What about 3 and 4? So we'll go up and tag the taxable profit. Or maybe you can get from the working itself. I think in one working we have done. Here. This too. Copy. Paste the value. No. Okay, I will just type the figure 38, 482. Okay. Just wait a minute. Tax. Wait, just. Okay. 38, 482 and 94, 308. Okay. With this, what should you do? Multiply exchange rate and 10%. Why? Because in Gamela you paid 20, in US 30% tax on that taxable profit. See, additional tax only comes, that double tax treaty is only applicable for the taxable profit. The tax that you have already paid in Gamela, the balance you will pay in US. That is, US tax is 30%. That means in Gamela you have paid 20, US you will pay additional 10%. That's it, not 30%. Okay? But you have to multiply it with the exchange rate. So this one is, this taxable profit is in Gamela. You need it in US. So you have to divide it. Divide the exchange rate. For the third year. Third year's exchange rate is 65.18. Okay. So when you put here, these are taxable profit. This is for additional tax 80. I'm using short form in order to save time. You do equal this divide by exchange rate, that is 65.18. Multiply this with 10% because tax you're paying 10%. Enter. Okay. This we'll take it as a whole number, or let's say 2 decimal place. Or you can take as a 59 also. Here. If you want to round this to whole number, just click here. No. Keep going down. Format cell. This one. Okay. But this will be minus, okay? So don't forget to put, this will be minus. Anyway, we can put it in the main table, it's fine. Here, equal to this divide by the exchange rate, 68.98. Because same exchange rate, and multiply with 10%. Enter. Format cell, this, okay. 137. Now we are coming to the opportunity cost, OC. For opportunity cost, what are we doing? First year equal to It is units into contribution after tax. After tax will be, in US tax is 30%, so after tax means 70%, right? And contribution is 20. What about the units? 40. 40 multiplied by 20 multiplied by 0.7 after tax. Enter. 560. Year 2. They told that every year the units will reduce by 20%. Okay, that means here if you see the opportunity, wait, let me click here. If you see here the unit is 40, right? So this 40 will reduce by 20% every year. That means after reduction 80% of that. Okay, so here if you have to take, okay, just take 80% of 40, okay, then multiply it with 20 because price will remain 20 after tax, so 70. It is this. Okay, I'll just try to, if I try to copy it, if I try to drag it to the other cell, it will not take it because you see it's the same, because on this amount every year you have to reduce it by 80%. Okay, so here what I have to change is everything else remains same. Okay, just that you have to, on this again you have to apply 40%, sorry, another 80% on this. Okay, this is the amount for year 1. When you go to, sorry, for year 2, when you go to year 3, on that again you take 80%. Understanding? On that price you are taking 80%. That's why you are multiplying it by 80%. 358.4. If you are not understanding this in one go, let me tell you. Okay, I will do it somewhere and show you. See, 80, okay, 80% of 40, because that is the price, right? 80% of 40 is what? 32. So again for the third year you are taking, on this you are taking, this will reduce further by 20%. That means 80% again. That's what I did here. If you do like this, you will get 25.6 only. So 25.6 into 20 into 0.7. Third year, what you have to do is, okay, equal to, like this. No, you can just open this. The only amount will changes. Again, you have to multiply it with 0.8. That's it. Everything else remains the same. So what I'm doing is I'm going to copy paste here. Copy, paste. I'm just going to add another 0.8. That's it. Enter. You see? This I'm going to round it up to whole number. So format cell. Okay. Now it looks better, right? Now what's next that we have to find out? Additional contribution. Okay. Additional contribution. So in additional contribution, okay, I'm going to write here. Units multiply by the contribution multiply by inflation and into 1 minus tax. That is after tax. You have to take the account of tax also. Just make sure that you keep it like this. Drag it. Rather than keeping it in two separate columns, if you see that your word is coming, just drag the column. so that everything comes in the first column only, because this looks better. Imagine if you keep it like this. Okay, this also there is no problem with it, but then it looks better this way. Now, so in year 1, just give me a minute. Yes, this is the one. Okay, the first column is year 0. So what's the contribution? First of all, understand what is the unit. It's 12,000, but we are going to drop down the 3 zeros. So it's just 12 multiplied by the contribution. Contribution is $4 into 4 into after tax. That means 1 minus 30%, so 0.7. It's this. We can do the rounding up later. Okay, here unit is 22. Multiply it with 4. Price remains the same, 4 only, and 0.7. Only the quantity will change. After tax is 0.7 and the price is 4. Oh no, here you have to inflate it also. So when you put the inflation, it will be US inflation rate, that is 3%, 1.03. Enter. Here the quantity is 47 into price is 4 into inflation, that is 1.03 to the power 2 multiply by after tax, that is 0.7. Enter. So do it like this and see whether you can do for this year. Equal to quantity is 60, that means the units, price is 4, inflation is 1.03 to the power 3 and multiply with 0.7. Enter. Now just format cell, round it up to whole number. This looks better. Now what else? You have to find the total cash flow. Okay, total cash flow you have to find out. That means what total cash flow? One is this additional tax, opportunity cost, and additional contribution together. Additional tax and opportunity cost will be deduction, and this will be added. Additional contribution is a cash inflow. You understanding? So here, total cash flow. You can just enter the sum function. But if you enter the sum function, you see this is already in positive. So what you can do is just you can individually deduct it. This is cash inflow, deduct the cost from here. So this is your outflow. You see? Because this is an inflow, from inflow I have to deduct the outflow, and there is no tax. When I do here, equal to this minus this, enter. And here we have tax also. So what are we going to do? From additional contribution, deduct opportunity cost and also deduct the tax, that is 59. Enter. Same way for here. From here, deduct this and deduct this. Enter. So make sure that this is round up to whole number. You see? Your total cash flow. All are negative. Now you have to find the present value. This is US cash flow we are talking about. Present value of cash flows. At what rate? At what rate are you discounting? Tell me. 7%. They have already given you 7%. That only you can use. But this is US, so you don't have to adjust it. We had to adjust it that time, the cost of equity to 10%, because that is for Gamalian, and also all equity cost of capital we needed. This is already given. So take it. So in this case, you find the present value, or you can use the formula. Let us use the formula, okay, of net present value. What I'm going to do is I'm going to omit the stage. I'm not going to find the present value, but do it. You have to do it. Do it on your own and see, are you able to discount and find the present value and all. Are you getting the same net present value using both the method? I'm leaving it up to you. I'm using the method. So equal to net present value, what I have to write? 7%, comma, capital NPV. Okay, I'm going to take from here to here, cash inflow, press enter. You see, nothing to deduct. There is no initial investment here. This is it. This is the net present value. If you want to round it up, let's round it up to whole number. Minus 1238. It will be 1.238 million. So this, in this case, it is negative. Okay. So what you do is you can just go and copy paste it. You can just go and copy paste it. Copy. Go up. Here. Additional opportunity, additional contribution. All together. Okay. Paste. Okay. No. It has to be paste special. Just take the value and paste it. Okay. It is all this three together. That is 1238. Now what is left? The only working that is left is tax shield and benefit of subsidy. Working 8. Okay. First we'll finish with the tax shield. I know this is a bit too much working, but all you have to do this in 90 minutes only. That's why you need to practice, practice, practice. So give the name tax shield and subsidy in bold. It will be in which currency? You need it in dollar, right? Okay, here. So it will be interest into loan into the tax rate. Okay, so for year 1, what is the interest of the loan? Tell me. What is the interest of the loan? Which interest should we take? 6%. 6%. They have offered a 6% subsidized loan. Okay, but I'm asking you this question because it's very easy to get confused with the interest rate here. There are so many interest rate. One is borrowing rate, that is 5%. One is risk-free rate, that is 3%. And the other one is subsidized loan that is offered as 6%. You have to take the subsidized loan. And yeah, also the commercial borrowing rate is 13%. So you have to take the subsidized loan, okay, 6%. So interest will be 6% because this tax shield is on the subsidized loan, okay. 6% into loan. What is the amount of the loan? Tell me. To understand the amount of the loan, you need to go back. See here. It is 270. This is the amount of your loan that you need for this project. 230 of investment plus 40,000 of working capital. It is always like that. Okay, so into, you are dropping down the 3 zeros. Okay, so it will be 270, not 270,000. 270 into tax. What is the tax? Which tax rate? 20%, 30%. That 270 is in Gamalian. Okay, you need it in that currency. So you also have to pay tax in that country, Gamalian. That is 20% tax, not 30%. So it will be 20%. Okay, clicked it twice. Enter. Okay, so 6% into this, 3.24. If you write it in thousands, it will be 3,240. Or just you can do is, you are dropping down the 3 zeros, right? Last 3 zeros. So you have to write 270,000. Okay. All the 4 years it will be same. So just take it, drag it to the other cell. It will be this only. Because interest is same, loan is same, tax rate is same. Okay. Now, annual subsidy benefit. What is the annual subsidy benefit? See, one is tax shield, okay? The other one is just the benefit of that subsidy. What could be the benefit? Now you have to pay low interest, isn't it? Now you have to pay the lower interest. So what is that interest difference that you have to pay? Commercial rate is 13%. Okay, you are offered 6%. What is the difference? 7%. That means you are paying interest at 7%. You are paying 7% less interest compared to the commercial rate. So 7% is the interest gain. Into the loan. Loan will be 270,000. 270 million means you are dropping down the 3 zeros, so 270,000. After tax, 0.8. Enter. This will remain same for all the 4 years. Okay. Now, total tax shield. Remember, this all are in what currency? In Gamalian currency. You later have to convert it into dollar. Okay. So now the total benefit. That means tax shield plus subsidy. So here, just use the sum function. If you see, it will be same only. But anyway, better to take it like this. So this is the total benefit. But since the exchange rates are different, cash flow will be different. Exchange rate. Okay, exchange rate. Already we have done it. Okay, but rather than going up, I'm just writing what we got. First year it was 58.2. Year 0, we don't want that 55. Okay, it is starting from year 1. Then we had 61.59. Then we had 65.18. Okay, if you cannot recall the exchange rate, no matter, you can go up and see. But since I know the exchange rates, I'm writing. So these are the exchange rate. Now the cash flow in dollar. So what do you have to do? Divide this by this. Take it to the, drag it to the other cell. And format cell this. See? Now you have to discount this. You have to discount this as well. Yes, you have to find the present value of this. At what percent? At 1%. What percent? Tell me. See, you can borrow this loan at 5%. Here is what you can discount this at any percent. You can say 3% because that is risk free, or 5%. But here let's use the 5% borrowing rate. That means this loan can be borrowed at 5%. Here also I'm going to use the formula. Okay. Net present value equal to NPV bracket, because it's 5%, so put 5%, comma, I'm going to take all this cash flow. Enter. Format. So this is the benefit. 1033. So I'm going to go and put it here. 1033. Where is it? Here. 1033. Now total is just the sum. Format cell, whole number. You see? Did you see this? This is the total adjusted present value, and see, you see it's a positive figure. So calculation wise, we are done with everything. Let me see whether anything else is remaining. Now we have done everything. Now what? What would you suggest? Before jumping here, just understand that here the additional tax contribution and all, we got a negative net present value. So you would suggest that shift into Gamela is better, because if you are retaining it in US, you are having a negative net present value, right? So that's what you're going to suggest. Now you know the decision. So just close this, open your word processor, go back to your report wherever you have left space. Here, based on the financial assumption, are you going to cease or not? So you have to go back to the report now. Your calculations are all done. Okay. Now tell me, based on the calculation. So, based on the calculation presented in the appendix, the move will result in a positive. Now you can tell a positive adjusted present value, isn't it? We just got an adjusted present value of 2.3. Adjusted present value of just over dollar 2.3 million. So on this basis, the initial recommendation is that the production of XIT. Now tell me, should it cease in the US or not? It should cease in the US. I'm going to bring this back. No need to leave the space. It should cease in US and move the production to Now do you understand why did I tell you to write the format of the report first? Imagine if you would have to come back after all those calculations and do the report. And in calculation, what happens? It's not that in one go you will get all. You will do mistakes. Many times you will come back and change the figure. All this will take extra time. So I would always suggest write whatever you can without the help of the number in the report first. Then go back and do all the calculation in one go. And then come back to the report and fill in the blanks. That's the best way to do. That's what I have done in my time, during my time also, which saved a lot of time. Trust me, I was able to finish it in 90 minutes. Even not exactly 90 minutes, but I think I took 10 minutes extra. But then it did not affect my section B question because they were smaller, right? But here you have to write the report, so yes. And move the production to Gamela instead. Done. Assumptions I have already listed. Government, other business factor also done. I have to write government change. This was pending. What can I write for government change? Tell me. change in government could have a significant impact whether the project will be beneficial to Tramount or not, right? So what did they say? What was their threat? That they will raise the taxes, right? So the threat to raise taxes may not be too significant as the tax rates will need to increase to more than 30%. Already they are paying tax at 30% in US. Even if they change also, it will not have so much of impact because you are moving to Gamala anyways. That means the tax rate has to be more than 30% for it to have any impact. You understanding? But there was another thread that opposition party will review the commercial benefit. This may be significant. Okay, so that you can write. I'm not writing it here, but you can write it on your own. Next, you have to talk about the case. You have to talk about the numbers. What was the number? You can do one thing. Open your spreadsheet. Find out how much of your present value is coming from the tax shield and the subsidy benefit. To do this, you have to go to your adjusted present value. Go up here. Just do this working. This much divide by this. How much? Over 40, at over 40%, right? 44.5%. Present values from this only, tax shield and subsidy. Okay, so you can mention about that. Just over 40% present value comes from the tax shield and subsidy benefit. Okay, so if this they change, the government comes and change, Tramount will lose a significant of the value that is attached to this project. In this case study, they told that 100% is remitted back to the country parent, but maybe the new government might come and oppose. Maybe they will not allow the remittance every year, right? It could be a problem, but you have to say whether it's a significant or not. This in this case it is not significant. Why? The largest present value comes from the final year of operation. So even if you delay the remittance, most of the amount, largest present value comes from where? In the final year of operation. We have to go back to the table to tell to see this. Let's go and find out. Look at the cash flow or just look at the present value. You see, largest of it is in the final year. So even if first year, second year, third year you remit, they delay the remittance to the next year. Final year, you are getting the biggest amount. So this will not impact significantly. Understanding? Now we are done with the report. We have to come to the conclusion. Conclusion part was left. I hope the government part you can write. Okay, already I've written so much for you. The answers, looking at that government impact also you can write. So we were here. Fill in the space whether this will be beneficial or not. So this initial evaluation suggests that moving the production of XIT to Gemella would be beneficial. So no need to write, right? In this case it would be beneficial. Done. So the report part is done. This is how you write a report. At the end of this, I'm going to take you through the marking scheme and I'm going to show you how are you going to get those 4 professional skill marks. How do they mark it? Based on what? But before that, for 5 marks, we have to answer question B, part B. What was part B? Regarding triple bottom line. We have to write it in the same word processor. When you write it, you have to label it, okay? Go down. After this report only you will be writing. Just press enter. You have to write it part B. Or question 1, always you have to label it like this. It's part B. You're writing. This is about triple bottom line. Okay, so you start defining what triple bottom line does, or you can say a TBL. What does they do? They give your they show the performance in three ways. One is economic, financial, and social. Okay, so a TBL report provides a quantitative, you have to understand what TBL does. Its work you have to mention. Provides a quantitative summary of performance in terms of economic, financial, or you can say environment. Okay, in terms of economic, or you can say financial, social, environment. This three impact. Okay, so based on this, I'm not going to write the rest. I just wrote his basic performance. You have to complete the rest. Okay, but let me discuss what it does. It provides a measurement. It's like a measurement tool. So through this, you can see how your project is performing. Okay, using the objective of this, like you can see whether your project is financially performing well or not. Is it socially performing well or not? Is it environmentally, what is the impact it's having? All those things. So first para is about that. Then what about the next paragraph? In the second paragraph, what are you going to write? This is for 5 marks. Tell, think. You have to take care of all the three: the profit, the people, and the environment. Okay, you have to balance all this. If you balance it, then only you will enhance shareholder value. So you have to see the benefits of this report compared to cost. If the benefit is more, if you feel the benefit of this report, TBL report, is more than the cost, go ahead. It will enhance shareholder value. Otherwise, no. Third, what can you write? It's up to you how many paragraphs you want to write. If you think it's 5 marks, you want to write 5 separate points, go ahead. Link this to the case study now. Always come back to the case study and link. These were general answers. It provides quantitative, benefit should be more. Now link it back to the XIT project. So what do you think? You have to talk about moving the production to Gemella. What could be the impact? So the impact on employees. The impact of moving the production of XIT to Gemella. Okay, what could be the impact on the employees? Environment. Impact on employees, environment, both in US and in Gemella. You have to highlight these points. Okay. So if you can show the impact, it will show that Tramount as a good corporate citizen. Use these words: good corporate citizen or green citizen or whatever. So because of this, reputation. Talk about reputation also. The impact of it will have on the reputation. So it will enhance the reputation. Because of this, they can attract and retain high performing caliber employees. It can also judge the impact on the other business factors that you have mentioned above. You see, you can take factors from here also. Don't be afraid to take your answers from your previous answer. Like for example, experience, you told staff might not be experienced to deal with international this thing. Project delayed, or what is the value of the real option? All those things you can write here. Okay, so that's it. We are over with both the parts. All the requirements are answered. Now, coming to before the professional skill marks, let us take you through the technical marks. How are you going to get the marks? If you're starting with the calculation, okay, let's start with, I'm taking you through the spreadsheet. Okay, see, 1 mark you will get for predicting the exchange rate using purchasing power parity. You must be thinking that we have done for 4 separate years, then why not 4 marks? No, it's 1 mark. That means if you go wrong in the beginning to predict exchange rate, all the other years will be wrong. You understanding? So make sure that you are right the first time. You don't have any chance to come back and correct it later. Or even if at later stage you are correcting it, no, you cannot do that. In the first step itself, you have to choose the two inflation rate correctly. What to multiply, what inflation to divide, by what rate. Okay, so one whole mark for all the 4 years. 1 mark only. Otherwise, you're going to lose 1 mark. Okay, next, 4 marks. Okay, 1 mark for sales revenue. 1 mark only for sales revenue. You must be thinking. So to get that 1 mark, go to the working. How many things you have to do? Just see. You have to multiply with the price, unit, exchange rate. You must be thinking that so many things I'm doing here. So hard, so much hard work. So I might get a lot of marks. No, only 1 mark. Everything only 1 mark. That means if you are correct in the first year, it is no doubt in all the other years you'll be correct. That's why always check your first year. At even second year also you can check. Check the rate that you have taken is correct or not, units, output, the price, the inflation, the exchange rate. Check this. Especially in the first 2 years. If they are correct, the others are correct because it is just you are dragging it to the other cells. So you will be correct in the last years if you're correct in the first year. Another mark is for variable cost, 1 mark. 1 mark for fixed cost and 1 mark for component cost. So each is one mark. Okay. Then this taxable profit. This tax is 2 marks. Why 2 marks? Because one, you first have to find the taxable profit. We have done it in working 5, and the other, the tax. Okay, so 2 marks. Then investment. This 450,000 and this working capital is 2 marks. Okay, 1 mark for identifying this investment and 450,000 and this one working capital, another 1 mark. Then wherever workings are not required, one mark you will get, like cash flows in GR, 1 mark. Cash flows in dollar, another 1 mark. Discount rate that you have calculated, another for 2 marks because working is required, right? Then base case net present value and this present value. To find this present value also there are marks, and net present value 2 marks. Both present value 1 mark, net present value another 1 mark. Okay. Then what's next? So coming down from there, rest is in the adjusted present value, right? Marks. So you see most of the marks goes in the net present value. Each line carries one mark. Now, present value of additional contribution, opportunity cost and additional contribution. 4 marks. Okay. 4 marks. Additional contribution, additional tax, opportunity cost. 4 marks. Tax shield and subsidy. 4 marks. Closure cost to identify this, even if it's just one line working, is 1 mark. the comments that you are making and the conclusion based on this is 1 mark, 1 to 2 marks. Okay, and in your report for writing this assumptions and to say that use sensitivity analysis, 2 to 3 marks. You see, 2 to 3 marks just for stating the sensitivity analysis and the assumptions. Now, coming to the second part of the report, government change and other business factor. For implication of change of government, 2 to 3 marks. Other business factor, 5 to 6 marks. Depending on how much you have wrote for the government. If you have written 2 points, then business factor 6 marks. If you have written 3 points, business factor 5 marks. Okay, each factor is for 1 mark in the business factor. Then, what's next? Part B, about triple bottom line. 1 to 2 marks per point that you have discussed. Now, that's it. But let's see how the professional skill marks you will get. Okay. What were the professional marks? They told there are 4 professional skills that will be tested. One is communication, one is analysis and evaluation, one is skepticism, and commercial acumen. Okay. See, commercial acumen means that is easiest to get. That means you should have some extra knowledge of that thing. This how you will get? For recognizing external constraints and opportunities. Wherever you see there are some issues or some opportunities, like in your business factor or government change, in this, if you can identify that opportunity or some constraint, that shows you have a good knowledge of that, right? That is, you are showing commercial acumen. Okay. What about communication? See, communication means, are you writing it in a form of report or not? Are you using the structure? Are you using headings or subheadings? Or are you adding an introduction to it? Are you writing the proper conclusion? Your language that you're using, the style, is it very clear? Okay. The tone of the report that you are using by saying that the purpose of this report is to do this. That's a professional tone, right? How you're showing the calculations under appendix in spreadsheet. All this will give you marks for communication. Okay. Also, how you're answering. Is it very general answer or answer is very specific? For example, the question asked whether you will recommend it to move it to Gamela or keep it in US. So you have to answer that question. That is for communication. Coming to analysis and evaluation. How do you show that? That means, are you able to draw line? Are you able to draw some pattern through the calculation that you have done? Right? Are you using the data to support your answer? Yes, because we told based on adjusted present value is positive, we are going to accept it. We are going to move the production to Gamela. That is based on what we are saying on calculations only. So we are using the support of it. We are basing our conclusions based on it. So that shows we are doing a good analysis. We are even doing further analysis also. Okay. If you want to calculate some kind of ratios or anything, fair enough, go ahead. You can do that also. Okay. By saying relevant factors are there, not just finance, other business factors, change in government, or let's say cultural factors. So many factors are there, right? Will give you the marks for analysis and evaluation. Coming to the last professional skill, skepticism. How do you show this? This is showed in your assumptions, right? You are challenging the assumption. So that itself, you are getting the skepticism marks there itself. Okay. For everything you want reason. Why this is an issue? Why this is a problem? Okay. Or maybe having some additional information could alter the decision. Some information is missing. Like how you told, right? Sensitivity analysis needs to be done. So that is, you are showing skepticism skill by stating it. Okay. So that's it for this. See you in the next question, question number 2. Till then, take care and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And please, 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 it's my humble request, please share this video with your friends, colleagues, whoever is planning to give AFM exam in December. Thank you and take care.